Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of my vlog. In this week's episode, I really want to focus about certain symptoms that I face on a day-to-day basis. Also as well, kind of the triggers and the way that I've coped with kind of real big moments in my life that have led to me being the person that I am today. As I mentioned in episode 1, I suffer from anxiety and depression. And I have done for many years now. And one of the first things that I do want to talk about today is my anxiety. A lot of people ask me kind of, is that just you're nervous all the time? But it's really not. It really focuses in on kind of certain situations that can lead to panic attacks and also overthinking pretty much every decision or every email or every text message that I send to anyone. So I kind of want to start off by talking about what a panic attack is like for me. And I've heard a lot of people describe it like this before. But a panic attack to me feels like I become immediately in danger and my surroundings are something that I need to get away from. Very similar to like fight or flight mode. But for me, I genuinely feel like I'm going to die in that certain situation. And that may be triggered by a certain incident that's happened or kind of an emotional feeling that's happening within that space that I'm in, or it could be down to nothing whatsoever. Like I said, it can snowball really, really quickly from one little tiny thing to become something that genuinely I feel like would threaten my life there and then. One of the times that I experienced kind of a panic attack recently was when I was out shopping. Me and my girlfriend had gone to a retail store over the weekend, and we were just browsing the stores, had a really good day, and walked into this certain store, and all of a sudden I started to feel really anxious and really nervous about the surroundings that I was in. One of the triggers for me is I know that my hands start to shake, and I became very tuned in to the surroundings around me. So for example, I could hear every conversation that was happening around me. I could hear every footstep that was happening. I could feel it almost felt that my brain became really, really noisy, super quick. My girlfriend is really in tune to my mental health, and she noticed quite quickly that I was starting to suffer from the onset of a panic attack. And she is literally my rock, and I would beg anyone that's suffering from anxiety to have someone like that in their lives that they can talk to. She pulled me aside away from the noise and kind of the immediate threat that I felt that I was in, and helped me realign myself to the point where I felt I could carry on with that visit to that store. I would have never been able to do that in the past up until now, and I'm so thankful that I've got her in my life, and she's totally understanding of my mental health. I don't think I'd be able to do it today. Moving on to kind of the second aspect of my mental health is depression, and personally for me it's a lot less aggressive than anxiety. It doesn't strike me with visible symptoms or triggers that I know something's going to happen, but it still has a huge impact on my life. So a lot of you know I spent about 6 years in a band, or in bands, touring the UK, going up and down the country, playing different shows, and playing to hundreds of people at a time, or even 5 or 10 people at a time. But I think being in a band gave me a way to kind of hide my depression in a sense, where I could become this extroverted kind of showman style person for 30 minutes every night. And I would pay for that big time after I'd finished the show. We would play a gig and I'd be absolutely fine. You wouldn't notice there was any issues that I was facing. Afterwards, I've become removed from my social circles. I would not want to speak to anyone. I would constantly doubt myself and think that I'm not good enough for the band that I'm in, and I was letting my friends and my family down by choosing the life of being a musician. And it became a real dark part of my life. I spent 6 years having some of the best times of my life, and also 6 years of some of the worst times in my life where I questioned whether or not I wanted to be on this earth anymore. And there was certain triggers that I'm not willing to talk about on this vlog that kind of led to my mental health declining even more. But it came to a point where I worked at my old work. I walked into my manager's office and just said, I don't want to be here anymore. He took that as I don't want to be at the company anymore, but I was really screaming out for help and saying that I really didn't want to be here on this planet anymore. And that's the first time I've ever felt that. And it was really shocking to me, and I think looking back at it now, I never really told my friends how I really felt. But I told my manager, who I never had a real close relationship with. And that to me was a cry for help. It was the darkest time in my 31 years on this earth. And I realized that I needed help from my friends and my family. And also I needed medical help as well. This led to me having 12 weeks off work, and those 12 weeks were the toughest 12 weeks of my life, to the point where I didn't want to leave the house. Like, my parents used to come and pick me up every Tuesday afternoon just to get me out and socialising with people, and they were amazing through that period, and I can't thank them enough. And like I said before, my work at the time never really treated it as a mental health issue. It was more of a black and white, you're not in work issue, and they never really understood. Like I said, I look back on that time now, and I'm really grateful that I'm here today. And after those 12 weeks, my symptoms didn't disappear. They're still here today. They live inside me, like happiness and love and excitement, and I have to deal with them on a day-to-day basis. But one of the things that I find strength in is helping people, and that's the reason why I joined Able at Uber, was to really raise mental health awareness and just to make sure people know it's okay not to be okay. So I can't thank everybody enough, and there's people at Uber today that I really can't thank enough for some of the struggles that I've faced within the 3 years of being here. You all know who you are, and now I'm sharing my story with every one of you. I hope we can start talking about mental health together. So yeah, thank you for listening once again. Please stay tuned for episode 3, which is more around how I cope at work and some of the really kind of cool things that I use to kind of get through my day as positive as possible, and also to help everyone that needs it. Thank you.